All right, we'll continue on today from our introduction yesterday. And if you happen to have missed it, we're having a special event at Institute of Self-Awareness, and it has to do with people's auras. And Larry has been our ISA aura interpreter for many years and is opening business here now for people to have the experience of having the information that is usually hidden in their aura, to have it available to them, because he will see it and tell them about it. Now, we're doing these sessions with Larry for $10 a time for this coming week only, from the 9th to the 15th. And the $10 is for a 25-minute session. So that's quite a length of time for that amount of money, and you will get a lot of information in that short of time. So what we have here right now is one of the drawings that Larry has made to help you understand about an aura. This is a very, very different picture than I have seen in the last 20 years or 30 years, but we'll let him tell what this is about.
Okay, this individual, like some of the drawings yesterday, has been coming to class and doing some of our work here, but their main issue is I want to use the word compartmentalize their beliefs. They have a belief that their spiritual work looks like, this is this level of spiritual work right in here. It looks like this, it sounds like this, and they have many rules and regulations about how it works, what you do, what terms you put on it, instead of allowing it to be free. Same thing with their health issues and their beliefs in energy and healing aspects. It's all dictated by rules, and they think about it so much. This is an unusual large amount of yellow around somebody's head, because they're always thinking about what's the next thing, how can I add this, how can I turn this into a business, how can I turn this here, and then this brown underneath this. These are the rules and regulations you do for strength and for keeping your energy up and bright. And none of these aspects flow together. The spiritual aspects of them don't go into their health or into their intellectual pursuits. They all stay separate. And as good as this looks, somebody saw this and it looks like a beautiful butterfly. Yeah, maybe. But our energy should flow from one part of us to the other, back and forth, mingle, change, grow as the energy passes through and around each other. And this doesn't. This person keeps all their aspects, all their different parts of them separate. They also, in this world, are a little bit of a chameleon. So when they go to their job, they present themselves one way. When they go and are with their family, they present themselves another way. They don't ever present themselves as a whole person. And it takes so much physical and spiritual energy to change. So at the end of the day, this person is tired, because he has to constantly change his presentation, his facade of who he is, no matter where he goes. And that takes lots of work.
I could throw something in here that when I'm doing a class and presenting material, I can see the concept of what I'm talking about. The person, I can see it go into their head, and they're looking for which box to put it in. And then they decide if they're even going to put it in, if they're going to take it on or not. And that process is going on all the time, instead of just letting the information be in its own energy, but to put it in a box. Well, this is like a box. Okay, now what happens to that outside aura that we had on the picture yesterday? Is this still going to be, or is it going to show this ragged edge?
The edge is, let's use the word, maybe your word ragged, but when it's nice and circular and round, everything flows, everything is in motion. This is always circling back in on itself. When energy circles back in on itself, it gets tight. It gets massed into clumps. And that's never good. When energy circles back in, it gets tighter, like you're, I don't know, winding a cord up around a spool or something. It gets tight, and then it doesn't move.
Well, and even here, if it's not a smooth circle, and we know that like in a balloon, if you put some water on it, it's gonna run
right off.
It's gonna move. So here it would have to take a vacation,
Yeah.
take a dip,
Right.
and then always slow down and then have to be forced to speed up again.
And this doesn't
Pretty hard
even
life.
include some of the universal energies from the all trying to get in. It has to fight through all this, which I have a picture on here too, which we may do at a future date. But let's move on to the next picture. Let's go here. Now this person is beginning to get it together. Their field is opening up. It's starting to smooth out. There's a circular pattern beginning to form here. It's still bumpy on the edges,
But not so deep.
but not so deep. The crevices are less pronounced. It's getting smoother, it's getting rounder. And as people see that their thinking, their belief patterns is taking and shaping their energy pattern, it's like, after a thunderstorm and all the dark clouds are in the sky and the sun that's behind it. Anyway, or the universal life force energy behind that storm is starting to peek through some of the points. And you can see that radiation starting to come from that person. They still have a lot of issues and maybe some dark colors down here, but that awareness is starting to dissipate the heaviness of the human thinking, the human clouds that it inundates their energy field.
It's even easier to look at this,
Yes.
that doesn't have such a solid bump to it,
Yeah.
and that,
And then,
there's movement.
yes, and patterns are starting to break down and
blend
blend
So
together.
even the intellect can come into the
Spiritual.
spiritual, and, the identification down here is
Yes.
smoother.
And everything's becoming larger. Instead of just a clump of yellow around the head, now it's around the whole shoulders and almost down to the waistline.
So this person is at a point of not having their buttons pushed
Pushed
all
all
the
the time.
time. They're gonna have a little happier
Mm.
life, a little healthier life,
Yeah.
because it's smoothing out.
Yes. And the whole weight of their field, the whole weight of their life is lifting.
Lifted.
And it's lighter. You can go places and do things without being wrapped into what you see in here. There's so much conflict out in this third dimensional world, and this person is beginning not to get sucked in. He can still participate, he can go to the football game or the baseball game, but his life doesn't depend on who wins or loses, or who likes him or dislikes him. And that motion is where, here at the Institute, our classes and everything are built around, to take the human forms that inundate our energy fields and make them lighter.
All right, so I'll just repeat that. This is an introductory program, and we have many aspects along with the aura stuff to do. This is just presentation. So we're at 13745 West Capitol Drive in Brookfield. And the phone number to make an appointment for this $10 for 1 week only is 262-781-5300. Thank you. I hope you look at both of them.